right, we are live. Just going to turn off my YouTube. And get my chat. So I hope everyone's had a really wonderful weekend. It was a holiday yesterday for us Canadians, and back to normal again today. Beautiful day here, not too hot, but we're going to get a hot one tomorrow. It's supposed to be 105 tomorrow as far as what it feels like. So not happy with that. And I have a dental appointment tomorrow also. So hopefully, well, they have air conditioning, thank goodness. So it is August. Can't believe it's August already. So we're going to do, as you probably have guessed, I always do a letter for the month of whatever we're doing. So February, March. I think I have May somewhere else, though. It's not in here. April. June or July. I think it's June. Yeah, that's June. And that was July. And we're into August, and I'm going to be putting it on this side, and I'm actually going to show you how to do some cool swatching on the other side with the colors that we're going to be using. So you get to document where or what your colors were. So August, to me, it's all about flowers, of course, and bees, butterflies, that type of thing. So we're going to be drawing first. It's not a detailed drawing. It's just basically putting in where I want my A to be for August. So I want it fairly large. And then I think I want it like this. So that goes across. And then I guess we could go like that. So this is going to be filled in with flowers. Now I don't have to stick to this exact, but it keeps me from getting wonky. But I can go outside the lines a little bit. So I want to put, I love flowers like, what's out? Black-eyed Susans are out, echinacea, Shasta daisies, lilies. I still love fern and hostas, and there are some, if you want to go into more of your, like Queen Anne's lace is out, that type of thing. Hi, Zandra, good to see you. It looks like you had a fantastic time in Maryland. So that was good. So we're going to do I don't know if you call it an illuminated letter. I think it's more typography. Oh, I can't say it. Typography. I don't know. You know what I mean. So it's going to be flowers and leaves, foliage, maybe vines, whatever you have growing in your garden. Typography. No, I'm not going to bother. I can't say it. It's a mouthful. And then we're going to use some stencils today. just to show that you can use your stencils for making your own areas for swatching. So it doesn't have to be your standard little square or circle. So I just outlined the letter A of how I want it to go. So I want it a little fuller on the bottom and kind of squared on the top. And I'm not going to fill in the whole thing. So it's going to be just put flowers and vines and stuff in the areas. So I'll probably erase a lot of this. So what I'm going to do, I have my silver black velvet. This is a number 4 brush. I love these brushes, and I like the one you gave me too. Mink, I think it's called. They're a great brush. Anything with a really nice tip, I would strongly suggest. These are synthetic, so any of the people that are against real fur, these are great. So naturally, I'm gonna want different shades of green for my foliage, and I want to decide what types of flowers. Now, you don't necessarily have to have it botanically correct, because it's going to be a smaller flower, so you're not going to see all the details in it. But I want to keep my colors as vibrant as possible, so I'm going to have a clean palette. So I'm just taking up all of this. Now, if you have a palette you can use instead of cleaning one up, normally I don't clean them up, but when you want something very clean looking, you kind of have to. Or especially if you're using soft colors like soft greens and yellows, that type of thing, it's very easily muddied with a dirty tray. It doesn't take much. All right. Hi, Pam. So I like using my brush for the shape of leaves. So these are round brushes. I think I probably use mostly rounds. You can use a cat tongue for foliage and petals and that type of thing. Because I want my foliage and petals to be fairly small, I'm not getting a very big flower in these. I'm going to stick to fairly small brushes. So this number 4 should work for me. So I'm going to put, let me think. We still have roses out. I have lots of daisies, different types of daisies. So maybe I will put some echinacea and I have black-eyed Susans. Maybe black-eyed Susans and what else? So we're going to need yellow. So this is Henza Yellow by Core. Just get a bunch of that in here. Now I like to mix my palettes before I start going. That way, if you want to put another color in while it's still wet, you don't have to quickly make it. Let's see, Black-Eyed Susans, brown, well, that's basic, and green. So I think I'm going to use Payne's, no, Praline Green by Daniel Smith. It's a beautiful color. It's fairly strong, so you can make quite a few different shades of it. And then I'm also going to use maybe some leaf green for some areas. So a nice bright color. Okay, so let's put in a few stems and stuff. So I love any kind of fern. So I'm going to put the stems in first. We'll just kind of wing it, and then I'm just touching using the shape of my brush, and you can darken or lighten, add more or not. A little bit smaller, so you just use your tip of your brush for the very tops. This is very more illustrative, I guess you could say. But it's fun to do. And vary your water. So it gives a little bit more interest when you do that. And where else? Maybe we'll put another one in here, just along there. Maybe a smaller one, so we want smaller fern leaves. Okay. What else do we have? And we got some big hostas, so we can mix these. So I'm going to use this bright green here. Just put a little bit over on the side here and just pick up a little bit of that bright, or the, what was it again? Praline green, and change the color a little bit. And let's put some big leaves in, so we can do half the leaf. You can leave a little bit of a section in the just make a bunch of shapes with your brush. If you want to make bigger ones, you don't want to use this one, you could use a bigger brush. Just put a few in though. Let's put one in here, and you want it a little bit a different color, so you can distinguish it's different from something else. Okay. I'm going to mix a little bit. Let's make, what else do we have in our garden? Maybe these, what do you call them? Ivy. shapes of points on it. Depends on the type of ivy, but put a few of those in. Let's put some in here. Maybe a dark one in here. It's just a matter of mark making when you're doing something that's fairly distant looking. You don't have to be accurate, because you're not going to see those details. Use this bright color. So, I guess we'll put a bit different. In here. I guess I could have, maybe it's a multi-stemmed leaf. That. Put one, let's see, put some here. Some leaves, whatever. Maybe some real ferny stuff. So very fine. Now you could get your other markers out too if you have some watercolor brush pens. Just a bunch of dots. Could be like really feathery looking leaf. So like maybe, what do you call it? Asparagus fern. Just play with it. Have some fun with it. Let's put one in here. Dots. It just gives that impression that it's very feathery looking or open, however you want to describe it. Lacy. And maybe a little bit in here. I can see me putting my Prima. Yeah, well, why not? You know that I love mixed media watercolor. I just do. I don't know. Let's try a bigger brush, get a different, a little bit of this with more water on it. And maybe, could do a bigger leaf. Mix the colors up. Something with a little bit more serrated edge. Put one on here, I guess. And then we'll go back and we can add details if you want on the bigger ones. Yellow. I'm going to mix a little yellow with that. Maybe a little vine. Oh, maybe I'll get another color now. Let's try some of this green Appetite Genuine. A little more olivey color. So we'll give you another. If you want to, you could play on a separate piece of paper also to figure out what kind of shapes you want to do. Just play with it. Just have fun. Switch colors. Let's do more of this color. Kind of the grayish. Let's see, we can do some. Just overlap things. All right, so let's dry that. Hey, Carol. So I want to dry this as much as possible. I'm going to erase these lines now because I don't need them. And you will find sometimes the lines that are underneath the watercolor, sometimes they do erase. It depends on your watercolor you're using and your pencil. But you don't have to erase it if you don't want to. If you like the lines, leave them. There's really no rules when you're doing art in your sketchbook. It's all an experiment. Everything is good to do. Just the main thing to keep in mind is have fun. Pretend you're a kid and nobody has told you what not to do or judged the look of your art. Okay, so there's our leaves. Now, because yellow watercolor is so transparent, I'm going to use some gouache today because I have it. So, let's see. I have these. These are Artex individual ones, so I have these. But before we do this, I want to remember what colors I used. So in the beginning, I told you we were going to make a little swatch here with why not use these? Now you could have them so that they're like this. You don't have to use the whole thing. This is a window. I think it's TCW 350. It's from what is it? Crafter's Workshop. So I could use this. Also, I have anything with a larger opening. I have these. Why couldn't you use these? I also have bricks. These could be swatches. No reason why not. Now you could either swatch them in a way that like put a mark around so that you're showing which way to or how far your paint's got to go. Or you could get a sponge, like one of these sponges. Oops. These are just plain old dollar store makeup sponges. And sop up the color you have. Put it in here. Let's see. Let's try this one. So this one's the biggest. So if let's see if this, gotta make sure my sponge hasn't got, yeah, it's got paint on it. I might have to get a cleaner sponge. This has got, I think, dye on it. So I've got this paint here. So we'll just put a swatch of this on. So that's one color. And I had yellow, so I can put some yellow on my sponge. And I'll leave a little space. Here's the other one. Leave a little space. I'm cleaning my sponge out in my bucket over here, so it doesn't if you have separate sponges, you could do that too. I had the Proline, so I'm just putting my, I already did that one. What else? I had leaf green and green apatite genuine, I believe. Okay, so leaf green. It's got a little bit of apatite in there. And again, you could actually trace that if you want to, if you're more, if you like that look better. Apatite genuine. Go over here. Okay. I think that was all the colors. The initial colors, and then I mixed them. So let those dry. Okay, so I have these colors. So Black-Eyed Susans are very close to this color here. So we're going to use this. And these are Artex gouache. And I'm going to use a smaller brush here, other than my good watercolor brushes. And I'm going to make a little bit of water. I should be mixing that. Where? Here. This is white gouache on here. So I'm just going to put this. You want a little bit of water in it. Not much, just a bit. You don't want too much water though, because then it gets transparent again. Okay, so we'll make, let's make a flower right here, kind of sideways. Maybe I have quite a few petals, so a lot of times, no, this is still fairly transparent, but we'll get the gist of it. And we'll just put in some flowers there. And how about one up here? Again, using my brush for the form. Now I could probably put white on top of this. I haven't used gouache enough to really know what I'm doing. So let's get some white gouache out. So this is the tube gouache. This is Winsor Newton white. And so I'm going to mix some white on my brush. I'm going to go right over top of these. want it fairly thick. So it goes on, covers up that green. This here. It doesn't matter if it mixes because I want to mix it anyways. But I wanted it more opaque to cover that green. All right. And maybe one right here. Put one face on. These are black-eyed Susans that I'm going to be doing. I need to cover the green. So that's why I'm doing the white first. That's fairly thick. Shouldn't be that thick. All right. These go back over. They're still a little opaque. This one here. You can't brush too much because you just mix it then. White watercolor wouldn't work. And it is white watercolor that you get in your kits. Probably wouldn't be as thick, so it's probably going to be translucent. You could try it. Maybe different brands are better than others. Okay, so let's mix up a little bit more of this. And I'm just going to go right over top. Now it's going to go on. It's a little thick, but that's all right for me. Even if the white still shows, it gives it a little bit of more dimension. So that's good. Like that. Bit more water. You guys are kind of learning with me with the gouache because I haven't played a whole lot with it. Hi, Carol. Good day. All right, then while that's still wet, I want a little bit darker. So should I? No, I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to see what happens if I put watercolor on top. I like doing experimenting. But I do want brown. So we have a brown here. Hi, AJ. So we'll take some of this brown. And where did I put the... mix it with this. Bit. And I have these black-eyed Susans that have probably their centers are that long, and they're very, very tall. They're about 6 feet tall. They are the most awesome looking flowers you ever saw, and the leaves aren't a typical daisy shaped leaf. They're almost round looking, and they're blue. They're very, very cool. Let's see. I'll put this over here. Not sure the botanical name, so I can't tell you that, but they're huge. Like the centers are huge. Now, let me see. But the when they first are started to bloom, they start going brown from the bottom up, so the whole thing is as a green, bright green color when it's first starting to bloom. So I'm going to mix some of this yellow with this green. Get this greeny yellow color. And the tops are kind of a green color. And then they go brown on the bottom. But as they grow, they change brown. Yeah, you could use acrylic paint. Hey, Mary. I believe in using what you want. There's acrylic wash you can use too. Whatever you have. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Use what you have. That's what I believe. So I'm going to dry that. Well, I think of it. I'm going to put a few more of these on. So let's put the gouache going the other way. Where's my sponge? I'm just going to dip my sponge in this and swipe. Clean it. So we got that one. We had brown. Clean the brown. Let me clean this off with a baby wipe. All right. What else? I had the lime green or whatever that color is. Okay. Make sure they're screwed on right there. And this green color. Put a little of that on the bottom one. Let's see this one. Oop, wrong way. That one there. Just bring out my sponge. You could take probably a baby wipe would work for this too. And then wipe. All right. Then what else? We also have cornflowers in bloom along the roadside. And they're so pretty. I love cornflowers. And they're, I would say, a cobalt blue. They're such a pretty color. Let's see if we have a cobalt blooming flower. We'll have to make up our own. So we have ultramarine. Actually, why don't we use the white and mix the, where did I put that again? There it is. Mix our own with some watercolor. So we have ultramarine, French ultramarine here, and I'm just going to put it in my white. Take my other brush, put a little more in. Now you don't want to mix your this gouache with your watercolor. Don't contaminate. So rinse your brush when you're dipping into your palette with your, you don't want to contaminate. All right, that seems good. There's a nice blue. So I'm going to just put a few. They're kind of spiky looking. So let's put a few in here. Maybe one here. Sideways. And put one over here behind the flower, just to bring your eye around. And we don't have a lot here. We're down here. Let's put one here. One there, maybe full shape. Can overlap too. Make it a little bigger. I'm going to mix a little bit of that white, a little more white, just to give a little bit of difference in the color. There. Okay. And then let's try that. Yeah, I've done it before, mixing acrylic with watercolor. It looks cool. I like it. A lot of times you can't get a certain effect with acrylic, so I use watercolor. Like, say, a background. Say you wanted a misty background. So use your watercolor. And then you could paint on top of it fine with acrylic. The only thing that's more difficult is if it's harder to put watercolor on top of acrylic because it's going to resist. But you can put acrylic onto watercolor. Let's see. I'm going to erase some of those lines there. There. Okay, that's pretty much dry. Oh, one more sponge swatch of the French ultramarine blue. So I can put that one up here, going this way. And I'm just going to dip my sponge in my palette. It's a wet sponge, and just swipe it. Now this is sketch paper, so that's not going to come up, but that's fine. It's a sketchbook. Don't make them precious, because as soon as you start making them precious, you're not going to want to experiment in it. All right. So I think we need bright yellow centers. So let's use, let's see, what do I got here? If you have a, what are they called? Those little tools. I have one. I had other ones. I don't know where they went. These are great for using as dots. So we can just put a dot in the center of the full ones. Just make sure you wash your thing off so it doesn't dry on there. All right. Now we can use your pen. So depending on what you want to do, you could use the sepia pen or black, whatever. Maybe I'll use the sepia. And this is the last thing I'm doing, so it doesn't necessarily have to be waterproof when you're using it last. But if you're going to do your drawing first and then paint over it, you want to use a waterproof pen. And these are great. These are Unipen, or Micron is another one. This is a Microperm. I don't know if you can see that. This is the Unipen. They come in different widths too. Let's see if I got a smaller one. Here's a 1. I don't use 1s that often. This is another great pen? Graph ink or a marker. Those are all black. Okay, we'll use this number 5, and this is a number 1. We might use a number 1. Well, let's do some, is it working? Yeah. Marks. Well, we might have to do black because I don't think this is going to show. So, what's this one? This is a number 3. So I'm just going to put some, oh, that's too small. It's number 2. Let's see what this one's like. It's a little better. I'm just going to put some, basically little flecks going up the center of this flower. Because that's where the pollen is, so it's kind of fuzzy looking when it starts to go brown. You're not going to see a whole lot on the brown part, but I could get a colored pencil too. But I want a little bit of fuzziness on the side, just to show that it is textured. It's not liking that gouache. Might have to use a pen, or not a pen, colored pencil. Got here. Black. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Just some little strokes going up the it's done. This probably is still a little bit wet. That's why it's not holding the colored pencil that well. Then on the top part, you can still see a little bit of more or less the bud. Because believe it or not, this isn't the flower. Each one of these little fuzzy things on the center of the black-eyed Susan, that's the flower. I want a kind of a, I guess burgundy, or not burgundy, sepia. I could use, let's see, let's try this. So I'm just going to put little circles if this works. I don't think this is going to work either. Does not like your pen. So that's one thing to think about. They don't like your pens. So I'm just going to put a little ticks, more or less the bud, before they bloom. They're a little on the green side and burgundy, or not burgundy, sepia color before they go brown. Okay, so that's what I did there. So we could take a darker blue or purple. Let's see this. Just make a few shadowy marks in there in between petals, just to show that there's a bunch of petals in here. Give it a little bit of dimension. Like that. You can get as detailed as you want, or just leave it to the imagination too. Everybody does it different. This is why you do stuff in your sketchbook, is to find what kind of style do you like. And in order to find that out, you got to experiment. And that's why you play in your sketchbook to find those things out. Hey, Lena. Hope you're having a good day. It's a beautiful day here. But pencil crayons work, or colored pencils, work fantastic on gouache. So if you want to get really detailed, you might have to sharpen them a little bit, but they work great. Okay, then I guess I could take you in a little bit. Now I know there's no gouache on these here. So let's use our number 1 sepia. Well, these are gouache, but so you can either leave the leaves as they are, or you can put more detail in them. Whatever you want to do. So maybe the big ones I'll put the detail on, and then just leave the rest. That you could do. And I'm not necessarily keeping to the lines either. Let's see. Where else? Do the line on the fern. Play. See what you like. A lot of times your line work will guide your eye a little more. So maybe you want to have your eye look at something. So put more detail there, darker colors, that type of thing. Let's see. You could even change your colors to black. Let's see. We'll put a little, this is a number 2. Could also put in your leaves roughly. That kind of looks cool when you do that. They don't even have to be in the areas that you painted. I like that look. So you just play. Maybe these need to be little circles. That brings your eye into it. Or little scribbles. Doesn't have to be circles. Whatever shape you want to do. It's fun to experiment, especially with foliage, to just invent some shapes. Or think of a texture. How would you draw that texture? That's a really cool challenge to do. I'll show you the challenge we did for the July Blooming Artist to help people with color and combinations of color. I find a lot of people struggle with putting colors together. What would make a nice color combination? All right, so do we need anything else? Maybe a few more. Just taking a look. I think I need more attention to this here. So I'm going to put these scribbly marks in here. Maybe center rib also. Just to bring that out. Now I only have a few of those, so I think I need more of this color. So let's put a few more leaves in this color. In here. that. So you kind of want to do a little of this, a little of that, just to make sure that you're seeing colors all over your page. So don't have just blues in one area and yellows in one area. You want every color to every different person will bring your eye through. Let's do this here. A little bit of black. Through. And we'll bring it up here. Maybe it's just a stem. That. Your eye will catch that. And it also connects things. So it makes more sense to the eye. Like that. We could. Let's see. I think I want a bit here. There. But no side ribs. Those can stay green. All right, I think that's it for that. So then these, you can go back over. Just take your marker, whatever you're using, and you can trace. Now this one's a real bumpy one, but I think it'll look cool. Or you could take a colored pencil and do the same thing. And then take your markers or pen and put the names on. I like when it's not totally the shape. When the lines are kind of outside the boundaries or inside the past. You're not coloring within the lines, I guess you could say. I like that look. Like that. Let's see, I think someone is trying to get a hold of me. That was from yesterday, Lena. But we can do that after I feed the dogs, if you want, just let me know. Let's see if this will go on. Yeah. It's not as thick, so, and this dried before I painted on it. Or not painted, wrote on it. See, I'm not being precious about this. And a lot of times that's what makes a sketchbook look cool, is when you see that things are messy, things are, you see some mistakes, you see scribbles. I think that makes this sketchbook even more interesting, because you could tell that person was thinking. So we could either put it here above them or down here. I think I'll put them on here. So this was Winsor Newton. French ultramarine. I'm probably spelling this wrong. Oh well, what was this one? This one was Daniel Smith. Pervine Green. This one was Core Henza Yellow. And this one was Da Vinci Leaf Green. And this was Daniel Smith, Green Appetite, genuine. And these, lemon yellow, Artex. Just spell A-R-R-T-X, A-R-R-T-X. And this one was Burnt Umber. A-R-R-T-X. This one was Apple Green. Artex. Oh, so unprofessional of me to measure while you were live. No, that's fine. Don't worry. Good heavens. Yeah, I love the look of that. So doesn't that look yummy? Okay, so I have, where did I put it? I have this stamp here, and it's August. And I'm going to stamp it. But I want a little piece of paper. I'm gonna think, where should I put it? Right up here or right here? I think it has to be here. Maybe I'll do the whole thing. I was thinking of taking the A out, but I don't think it'll look right. But I could put it right here in the gusset. There. Now, see, I have little smudge marks. Look at it. It's not a clean page, but I love it. It's cool. I like this. So today is the 2nd, so 8/2/22. There it is. So there's my swatches. And I've used my stencils. So like I said, get these stencils out that have big openings and use them as swatch areas. I think they're cool. You could even do the outline first if you want to. So this is the flowers that are, now I could go in and write what each of these flowers are if I wanted to, or I could put it down here and write about it. It's all about experimenting, and this involves whether you want to write in it. Maybe you're unsure about doing your journal pages with writing in it. Try it in this. Experiment. See this? Messy, but it's my book. I don't have to show this to anybody, but I'm showing it to you guys. See, I haven't even finished stuff because I want you to feel free and safe about using your sketchbooks and this is how you improve also in all areas. Composition is another big one. I'll show you what we did in the Blooming Artist. So what we started, I'll probably be doing some more. So this was it was very short. I think it was about an hour we played with this. And I got these pictures off of Design Seeds. It's a website that has all kinds of swatches with the picture. So what I told everyone to do was go through all the swatches, or if you don't want to go through that site, go through a magazine. Rip out the paintings or the pictures that you are attracted to. Those are definitely the colors you love. And then try and print it out or whatever, or cut it out of the book, glue it onto your page, and try to do some swatches. So, and then we started learning about primary colors and what they can make. So anyone that's in the Blooming Artist, that's what our lesson was about, and I'll be doing some more this month, so it'll be more than one video this month. I just want to get you guys comfortable with color. And then for the Budding Artist, we did this cute little thing. I love this one. So this is my she shed. So what would your she shed look like? This is what mine looks like. And there's a traceable for this one. So and it's 2-hour video of how I painted this. If you're interested in a lot of these are from the membership. There's Patreon membership, and there's also YouTube membership, and they're both the same. So you get the same video. So don't go on both. YouTube is billed whenever you join, whereas Patreon is billed at the first of the month. So the next 10 days is the time to join Patreon if you're interested in the Patreon, and they're the same prices as the ones on YouTube. It's just a little easier, I find, on Patreon to find things than YouTube, but it's the same content. All right, so that's it for me today. Yeah, she shed. You could put bunnies in there. You could put signs, anything, really. Make it yours. All right, so that's the August letter A for this month. So last month it was the J. There's a lot of A's in the year, actually, and J's. All right, so I guess I'll let you guys go and get your sketchbook out. Draw, sketch, try lettering, whatever. Just be creative and have some fun with it. Don't show anybody. Just practice. That's how you get better at things. But it's important to have a sketchbook to do it in. Somewhere that you're going to feel safe and not precious about messing up. All right, I'll let you guys go, and you have a fantastic day. It's beautiful here. I hope it's beautiful where you are, and enjoy your creative journey. Bye for now.